I've noticed a lot of these white people that make these books talking about how stupid black people are. Like he talks a lot about the bell curve in his book and some of the other ones. They don't really get to, what should be done. Like, should we make, little towns to put all the dumb black people in? Should we kill them all? Like, they don't really.
They make good money off of this, and they go all over the world talking about it, and they do it as long as they don't ever get around to the doing part. Now, Dr. William Shockley, years ago, I told Dr. Wilson, I said, when you go on Donahue and talk to him, at some point you ask him, what is his solution? Now, on account of the commercials and all like that, on a couple of programs, she just never got around to it, or maybe she forgot to ask. But anyhow, Shockley just kept on rolling. And I said, all somebody got to do is just ask him, what is he going to do? Or what does he recommend be done? That's all somebody got to do, any of them. Just ask them that. Just one question. Not a whole lot of questions, a whole lot of shouting match, trying to prove by black people's scores and black people built the pyramids. I wouldn't spend 10 seconds doing none of that. Ever. Not ever. Under no circumstance would I spend 10 seconds trying to prove that black people are intelligent. To anybody. That's not the counter-racist scientific way. Counter-racist scientific way is to ask a person, okay, you made your assessment, what are you going to do? Or what do you recommend that everybody does? Or somebody does? What's your recommendation? The doing part. Not the assessment part, the doing part. So Shockley, finally, in a Playboy magazine article, William Shockley was finally asked by somebody, after a whole lot of traveling around and people getting upset and demonstrating and whatnot and talking about run Shockley out of town and all that kind of stuff. Finally, somebody did what I consider to be the most intelligent thing. One question. Dr. Shockley, what do you recommend men be done? Somebody in a Playboy magazine asked William Shockley that, because he was talking about how inferior black people were and had been doing it and doing it and doing it and going from campus to campus and crowds coming from everywhere, to listen to it and, and try to rebuttal it, and professors going up sweating and whatnot and getting hot under the collar, and on and on and on. Finally, in an obscure Playboy magazine interview, somebody asked him the question that could have been asked the first 5 minutes he walked out on the first stage. The most logical question after he makes his presentation. And he said, well, Dr. Shockley, what do you recommend be done? He said, bring in, have all the black women be told that they'll be given $100 to be sterilized. And they won't have any more of these dumb black babies. And when Shockley said that, all of his support everywhere abandoned him. Because you're never supposed to say what you're going to do. He broke the white code. What you're supposed to do is go around and get all black people upset about whether or not they're inferior, and have them just blowing off steam on every radio program. And going on campuses and whatnot, and all the students on the campus. Get some signs and say, oh, Dr. Shockley say we ain't nothing. Enough already. It's a simple formula. And people come down the pike and run that over and over again on black people, and black people react to it the same old non-codified way.
You think that's the intent when white people go and print out these sort of
books? He's practically winking and laughing. He go behind the curtain and say, they turned out the day I had one of the biggest crowds ever. They all paid $40 to come and see me tell them that they ain't nothing. I love it. Get me on the plane. I got 15 other engagements all over the world. All you got to do is just ask him, okay, that's what you say. All right, given that might be true, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it, William? End of story. Now, the last person I might have asked the guy at the bell curve about it, like Dr. Wilson, when she finally got around to debating him, she did ask him, and he said, well, I didn't come here to debate now, what to be done about it. See, he had learned, and so he's still kind of hanging on, because that's the cue. That's all you got to do. It's just, ask them what do they intend to do about it. Well, what they really intend to do about it is to keep it going by this, go to the next campus and get everybody upset, and then take off running to the next campus. It's an old trick. See, the white people turned against Shockley. They sank his boat. The black people didn't have to, because what he did, say, you're not supposed to tell these Negroes what you're going to do. You're supposed to tell them what they are, and how far out of, and what how they ain't this and they ain't that, and they don't amount to nothing. You can do that, That keeps them upset, They run from that. And run to it, and then run from it, and then run back to it again. They don't know what to do when you tell them that. They don't stop to think. Say, you're right about that. That's one thing they won't do. They won't stop to think. Wait a minute. Before I go over there on that campus again and get jerked around for the 50th time about what Dr. Shockley thinks or what all these other guys who do this and thing, I'll just ask them, hey, I'm tired of going to bed feeling bad about how you feel about me. I just want to know what you're going to do about it. End of story. Well, we'll get to that next time. But I got to catch a plane. I listened to that about twice when Shockley was around. He was very noted for that. And I came to the conclusion immediately. Ain't nobody asking him what he's going to do. They don't ask him nothing but the recommendation of how you solve the problem. Once you recommend how to solve the problem, then you got something to work with. But just somebody passing through town saying, you know what? All the black people in this town are stupid and ignorant and ain't never done nothing and never will do nothing, and, and their mamas ain't nothing, their papas ain't nothing, and they ain't nothing. Now, pay me. I'm going to the next town and do the same thing. It's a simple formula. Hello? Hello?
I'm sorry, I was talking away. I said, have you heard any of these people get challenged on the concept?
Sure. No, I've heard people, they've had 4 or 5 black people come up and challenge them, and students in colleges and whatnot who always feel bad about stuff like that, they always turn out.
But do they challenge?
That's an excellent way. Yeah, they turn out and challenge him. On the points and whatnot, start talking about the pyramids, and then, then they jump up and say, oh, no, black people never came nowhere close to a pyramid until they went on a tour. It's all built by Alexander the Great or whatnot, and say anything. And then they get all upset about that. Well, I got a book here that says we did,
Do you hear?
That's just nothing but the okie doke. We fall for it. We keep falling for it.
Do you hear anyone?
We are proving what he says, really. Mm-hmm. When we sit there and get all excited about him taking that assessment, the codified position is, okay, hey, suppose we are inferior, always have been, always will be. Let's suppose that's the truth. Because I'll say it in a minute. I say, now what's your next move? I made my move. You have concluded that I'm inferior, and I'm saying, yeah, I might be. Now what? What are we going to do now, dance or what? What are we going to do now? What are you going to do now? Because you would be doing me a favor if you just tell me what you're going to do. And I don't care what it is you're going to do. You'd be doing me a favor. Whatever you tell me that you're going to do. But I'm not going to get excited about your assessment. And I'm not going to get excited about what you are going to do. I'm just going to prepare for it. Now, so call it. See, now most black people at a subliminal level, I think a lot of black people, I won't say most, I don't know the percentage, that's the one thing they don't want to hear from him, what he's going to do. Because then that might tell them, hey, I'm now going to have to go into a fear mode. But see, I'm saying you shouldn't fear that. Not just from one white person, if all of them in one voice say it. Whatever it is. On the day today, we are going to tell all you black people on this planet what we are going to do. We're going to stop telling you all about yourself and what you need to be doing and all like that. We're going to stop telling you that. We're going to tell you what we are going to do with you. Now, I would not lose one moment's sleep at night on the day before the night of the day, that next day, when they will announce that they're going to come on and speak for the whole white world about what they're going to do with the black people on the planet. I would not lose not 1 hour's sleep about that. We're breaking out in a sweat, wondering whether there's going to be something bad. I just wake up and say, okay, what time y'all going to announce what you're going to do? They say 9 o'clock. I'd have my TV on at 9. And whatever they say, it's okay with me. And they might come out and say, well, we unanimously agreed at 1:30 this morning, a.m., that at 9 o'clock this morning we were going to announce it, that we're going to exterminate every black person on the planet. And I'd say, okay, that's their answer. And what that would mean to me, I got to prepare for the extermination and how I'm going to go down with it. Period. According to the code, I'd go down fighting, running and fighting, which is what any animal would do that's got good sense. But as far as worrying about their decision, no. Or getting all emotional about it, absolutely not. And that's not because of my age. I took that position when I first started writing the code. Because I told people it might come to that. So what? First talk that I made, 1969, I said that to the audience. I said, if you people here at the University of Maryland, you white people decide that the best thing for the entire planet would be to exterminate all the black people, then say that. And stop playing with it. And then go ahead and do it. Stop arguing about it. Stop trying to prove points. We don't need points. That was as far back as 1969. I said, everybody's just, waving their hand and all like that, trying to prove points. I said, get something done, one way or another. Either do justice or let's get it on for the last time and for the final time.